Good evening. Welcome to another riveting edition of The Ghost and the Goat. I am your host, paranormal investigator, Buddy Thayer. Come with me, take me by the hand. I'm going to lead you into a wonderful world of the paranormal and sports. This evening, over the next couple hours, I have a co-host this evening. We have two beautiful guests this evening. Before we get into that, if you follow anything that we do on the Ghost and the Goat or anything else we do on a van down by the podcast, you'll know that I do another lovely show that we just filmed. We film a monthly show of called Three Dudes Brews. Right, you can just only imagine. Right, it's an ocean of yellow foamy liquid. Yeah, so it's our liquid journey. Us three dudes down the majestic ways of the I don't know. So we just go to great breweries and talk to great brewers about like what they do and their insights and the craft and the culture. And one thing about the culture of Three Dudes Brews that's particular is the Rhode Island craft beer community, the New England craft beer community. There's so many amazing breweries, so many amazing brewers who do great things, and you see so many amazing people in these. Speaking of amazing, my not Miami Dolphins, amazing. Anyway, I digress. These amazing people, in these breweries. So we got together with one of these amazing people. His name is Mark Ambrose. You can see Mark at like literally 6 to 12 different breweries throughout any given weekend from Thursday to Sunday. He's a lovely guy. He's me and him connected because we're both widowers. So we connected over that. We connected over great beers, and we're connecting this March. Well, starting February 1st. Three Dudes Brews presents the Mark Ambrose Bingo. So you will, we have these. You can see in all the participating locations. We have one of these flyers. If you're interested in purchasing a Mark Ambrose Bingo for every, so you're gonna scan that VR code there. It will bring you to the Eventbrite page, which as of February 1 goes live. You can buy tickets from February 1st to the 25th. For every ticket that you purchase, you'll receive another random Mark Ambrose bingo card. So the key is starting March 1st, the month of Rhode Island craft brews here. It's Rhode Island craft beer month here in Rhode Island. It's what is it? It's the Big Little Brewski, something that me and the dudes take part in every year. Go to like different breweries and taste different beer. It's a good time, and it's really reasonable, by the way. Anyway, I digress. You go to these breweries from the month of March, and you say you go to Crooked Current. Oh, I'm going to go to Crooked Current. Oh, look, there's Mark Ambrose. I'm going to get a selfie with Mark. This is Mark there. That's what Mark looks like. These are the lovely ladies down at Crooked Current Brewing. They do wonderful things. Anyway, so that's going to be your marker on your bingo card. So you're going to X that off, right? Now we're looking for straight bingos. No free space. No grabbing that extra beer, kids. Just go up and down, up and down. So next you go to Origin, you go to Sullivan's Public House, Pivotal Lops, the Guild Warren, any of these locations here. So you get 5 bingos in a row, 5 selfies, 5 markers of you and Mark in any of these participating locations. And the first person to alert the Three Dudes Brews, you can follow us on Facebook throughout the month of March. Figure out where Mark's going to be. We're going to leave little hints. We're going to have a little trivia like, hey, this is where you might be able to find Mark this evening because we'll be taking him there with our designated driver because that's the law, right? And we're law-abiding citizens. And you can tune in to Three Dudes Brews for all that good stuff. Three Dudes Brews just filmed episode 7 from Buttonwoods Brewery. One off the bucket list. Bill Sutherland first took me there 10 years ago, and I have fallen in love with craft beer, and it's led me to shows like this. So we're doing this. Mark's chosen charity is the Ronald McDonald House in Providence. The Ronald McDonald House helps families that have children in the Hasbro Children's Hospital right across the street. With their kids are in there. They're sick. They need a home base. They need a place of operation. They need food. They need care for their other children. Anything and everything they need is provided by this Ronald McDonald House, which is I don't have kids, but I couldn't imagine having children. I've been in and out of the hospital with family, and I couldn't imagine having children at the same time. It's so Mark wanted to support that, so throughout the month of February, we'll be selling tickets. For every ticket you buy, again, there's another bingo card you get. If you don't want to participate, but you still want to donate, feel free to buy as many tickets as you want and say, "Hey, buddy, don't send me any bingo cards. This is for the kids." All right. Stay tuned to Three Dudes Brews as always for great beer selections and great charities. So this evening we have, like I said, we have a very special show. I'm happy to be joined back by my goatish co-host, the Goat Bams. Welcome back, dude.
Thank you, man. It's been a long run,
Now
but we're good, dude.
Number 15 for the Philadelphia Phillies. Yeah, no, I hit the wrong button.
It's all good, dude. It's all good. It's good to be back. Hey, dude, before we get into our guest, which I can't be more excited about.
Yeah, this is a very exciting evening.
This is a very good show for us. This is the first one back since the holidays, right?
No, I was on last week.
You did last
the Bruins
week.
game. You were live, unseen live in the field at the Bruins game. How was that, by the way? Did they?
They won 6-2.
Holy shit! Who did they play?
They played the Lightning.
Oh wow! The Bruins has been like,
dude, they look so good. They looked like the old school Bruins. They looked like they were beating them up. Like played physical hockey. Marchand and Pasternak both got goals.
It's always nice to see,
dude.
It's heartwarming and rich.
It was, it was great. You know what I mean? The goalie stood on his head, dude. Swayman like literally stood on his head the whole game. He was great.
I went to the Columbus game, the end of December, and it was not a fun ride up there. I did not. I had a really bad experience, dude. Toilets that aren't open and having to, So anyway, I got up there in one piece. Thankfully, I had a change of clothes on me, and I went with my father-in-law. And what I realized about the Boston Garden, which I never really realized, because every time I go to the Garden, it's always like for a concert, so I'm always standing. I never really had to sit at the Garden. I had to sit this time.
So tiny,
dude. I'm such a wide-bodied individual. Anybody who doesn't know me, I'm a big boy, and I don't. I'm just wide frame. I mean, I'm a little chunky. I'm a little husky at the hips, but I'm not a fatty fat. I'm a big dude, and my father-in-law is not really a big dude, and he was uncomfortable. And then the lady next to him was clucking the whole time. So he's like, "Bud, we gotta get out of here. I'm gonna smash this woman in the face." I'm like, "All right, Tony, let's go." So we got back on the train. The Bruins ended up destroying Columbus, but
speaking of Columbus, let's talk about your fight and Irish shit in the bed.
Oh, dude, speaking of shit in the bed. When they were down against Penn State and they had to have a comeback against Penn State, I'm like, oh, they're struggling like this against Penn State, against the Nittany Lions. They are not going to perform against the Ohio, which is so arrogant, the Ohio State University Buckeyes, those sons of bitches.
I'll never recognize that name. You know how I feel about the state of Ohio and Ohio State in general, dude. They're disgusting people.
I had Russ Stiver on here a few weeks ago, and he kept insisting on referring them to as the Ohio dude, because he's from Ohio, obviously, so he's a fan. But nauseating indeed.
Worst fan base in the history of sports.
Oh, fucking junk, dude.
For a Miami fan, this couldn't get any worse for me.
Dude, it just continues to suck, dude.
And unless it was Florida State. You know what I mean? Like, if it was Florida State, Ohio State, I would have threw up in my mouth. I never would watch. But we did get Carson back, which I'm thrilled about, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he's like a Heisman quarterback. I mean, he could be. You know what I mean? But we lost Cam Ward, and our freshman and sophomore didn't look good.
Yeah.
And we got an experienced guy that can actually play. And they've got in the transfer portal, dude. They've nailed a bunch of defensive backs. Like, this is the defense they should have had this year, because our defense literally let us down after Cam Ward had a Heisman season.
True.
If they weren't undefeated, Cam Ward would have been the Heisman.
True. And now all of the prospects are going to go to North Carolina.
Oh, dude.
I still find that kind of amusing that Bill Belichick went to the college, and he went to North. He's a Tar Heel of all. Like, really,
so I don't know about all of them, but he's going to get a decent amount of guys.
Yeah. I'm sure everybody will flock to play under Bill Belichick. I mean, awesome. I would love to still have that opportunity. Honestly, it's out. It's gone. But I mean, he's such a genius of football. I would love just to have the opportunity to learn something. You know,
he's going to crush in college football. But while we're also talking about football, let's talk about the Patriots got themselves a nice little offensive coordinator.
They shit out Gerard Mayo. Did they sign Josh McDaniels? Is he signed? He's in the books. He's the guy.
Yeah, they're going to announce it. I
Wow.
think tomorrow or the day after.
The kids are all getting back together again. The old pals, Vrabel,
First of all,
McDaniels, dude.
Vrabel's the perfect hire for the New England Patriots.
I think he's awesome. I think he's a good coach. But
He's a good coach. He never
took
should have been let go.
He took Tannehill and made him look like he was serviceable, like he was like almost the MVP. Like,
what was Tennessee doing, letting him go?
I don't know. They let go Henry too. Didn't they let go him?
Yeah,
like,
and AJ
running back?
Brown, like whatever. But we get Vrabes. Vrabes comes back home, right? In a move that everybody like just obviously saw coming.
Of course.
I don't care how
this
obvious
is his dream job. There was like there was talk about like him going to the Raiders because Tommy's at the Raiders and that's his boy, but
he gets a franchise quarterback because Drake May's a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, he's good.
He gets to be in an organization that he loves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and the fans love him.
Of course,
he's a Super Bowl hero, dude.
Right, and he's got a brain. So I mean,
he's a good head coach.
He's proven himself as a coach too. He's not like a upstart under Belichick. You know,
it just makes sense, dude. Like it, and then you bring back Josh McDaniels. Big Pats fan, everybody knows. I have seen mixed reviews on the hiring of Josh McDaniels. First of all, you fucking scumbags, like talking shit about Josh McDaniels. He didn't do great in the Raiders. I don't think he got a fair shake at it. Whatever. He built that Super Bowl team for the Broncos and then was fired because Peyton wanted his boy in.
Okay.
He literally built that team. And not to mention his last year as offensive coordinator, he made Mac Jones look like a competent quarterback, which we know he's not.
You can say that about him. That's
he gave Sam Bradford a Pro Bowl. Like, I mean, what is he going to do with real talent? You know what I mean?
He's probably not. He's probably just not a head coach material. He's just better.
And that's fine. That's fine. Not everybody is.
Right.
But it works.
Can be that guy. But yeah, he was like, it was him and Billy flying the plane to like seven championships. I mean, why would you not install something like that?
I think he took them to 2 or 3 of them because Charlie Weiss was the first 3.
Oh yeah, that's right. Charlie Weiss. Yeah. What the hell?
Charlie Weiss was the first 3. Actually, he might have won 3 more. Charlie Weiss, I don't know. He was in Kansas for a little while and then he just I don't know, might have died.
He just disappeared. Maybe he's dead.
I love Charlie Weiss too. Good play caller, but.
Yeah,
not a head coach. Neither was Romeo Crennel. Romeo Crennel was one of the greatest defensive coordinators I've ever seen. But just
could not from be Houston. He was Houston, or was he the Vikings?
Houston and Cleveland.
Oh God, where everybody. All right, so Stiver made this comment. Cleveland is the connection. Cleveland is the vortex of the paranormal. Cleveland is where every athlete either starts or ends their career. Nobody has like miracle seasons out of Cleveland. It's such a shithole team, the Cleveland Browns. I'm sorry, Russ. They're terrible. I mean,
they suck.
My Dolphins suck, but I mean, we've had hope in the past. Not a lot, but we've had hope in the last 20 years.
Browns fans never have hope.
Never had hope. And then they suck so much that Art Modell, their owner, took them and moved them. And where he moved them, they became the Baltimore Ravens are one of the best teams in football. Well, not this year, but I mean, yeah, they're usually they're a pretty good team. And they felt so bad for the Cleveland fans. They're like, let's start another organization in Cleveland. And they still suck, dude. They're still like the toilet of the NFL. People punish their players and send them to Cleveland as payback for them burning their mouth. Bill Belichick, Jimmy Collins. Yeah.
Love that, dude. All right. So before we get off topic too, obviously it doesn't. I don't think my boy Aaron Rodgers is retiring, but I'm preparing for life outside of Aaron Rodgers. We all know I'm obsessed. You should,
dude. He was garbage.
No. I will never turn. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He had the same amount of passing yards as Josh Allen. Let's not get into this.
Okay.
We don't have time to get into this.
We don't have time.
I will defend him forever. Okay. But I got to prepare for life outside of Aaron Rodgers because there will be a day where he retires and I will sit in my room for about 36 hours, cry, and just watch Aaron Rodgers highlights. That's coming soon. I know that. I think my next guy is Caleb Williams.
Oh my god, dude! Another guy.
I love him, dude.
All
I
right,
love
so they drooled all over Caleb Williams. Like
Also
this guy is going to be
had
the
a
next coming of.
better year than Jaden Daniels, but wasn't as flashy, and his team wasn't good. That's the only reason he didn't get the attention. Because if you look at his numbers, he had better numbers than him.
Nobody looked at Jaden Daniels in the beginning of the season. Everybody, oh, Caleb Williams, this guy. And Caleb Williams, how many wins did the Bears
That's not
have
fair
this
though,
year?
because he had like 5 game-winning drives that the kicker just missed a field goal. You know, see, it's already starting. I'm already defending.
Oh, dude, I think I didn't like him in the beginning of the season, honestly, because thought he was a golden boy, and I was hoping that it would fall on his face, and he did, and it was great to see.
He didn't though. He didn't. Dude, he almost set the record for consecutive passes without an interception this year. He almost broke Aaron Rodgers' record as a rookie.
Oh, the NFL, not just the Bears records, which are probably like
the NFL
a high school
record.
player could break some of those records.
Jay Cutler had some good numbers as a Bear.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
But yeah, Caleb almost broke the NFL record, dude. He didn't have as bad of a season as everybody thought, but everybody thought the Bears were going to be better than what they were. And it was
well, they did have the weapons. They did surround them with great players. What
bad coaching, no offensive line, and just a horrible kicker that missed like 3 or 4 field goals in crunch time and fucked them.
And the Bears are just another one of the trashiest organizations in the league. They just build shit teams year after year after year after year after
Caleb Williams this year threw for 3,541 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
All right. Yeah, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
As a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's really good.
Yeah.
I'm already starting. See,
I still think Daniels is I think Daniels was the number one in the class, honestly.
I think it was me.
Oh, well, yeah, of course you're gonna have the bias, but he's good. But he's
good. He's gonna be the greatest of all time, my friend.
We'll see.
That's Vanilla Vic you're talking about.
Vanilla Vic.
Dude, I do like Drake May. He's surrounded by no talent, and he still looked good this year.
Yeah,
and horrible coaching.
Right.
And he threw some dimes, dude. Like some of the balls he threw, it was impressive.
2 shitty receivers who caught not nearly as many balls as they should have. Like Polk is trash. But I mean, you guys could trade. You could always trade. Tyreek is on the market allegedly.
I don't think they would trade him in division. Do you?
Oh, dude, I hope they trade him. No, I hope they trade him to like Minnesota for like JJ or
yeah. I'm sure Minnesota's dying to trade a generational talent.
Just like I mean, they got that kid from the Jets. He took him to the playoffs. Another speed,
and then
receiver?
He shit the bed too.
Yeah, but whatever.
They have another receiver though. Jordan Addison's a stud.
Yeah, well, we need a good quarterback though, because I have no faith in Tua. He can't stay healthy, and even when he does, he can't play after like December 2nd. So
that's fair.
We need more consistency at the position. We need a better O-line. We need
better coach
to take people like Tyreek Hill, and I don't know, dude. He needs an attitude change or something, dude. He's got a Brandon Marshall complex, I think.
I think he needs a head coach that's not going to take his shit.
Yeah, like Bill Belichick but I don't think those coaches even exist in the NFL. Oh, maybe what's his name? Flores. Maybe if you got Flores somewhere, you know.
Vrabel does.
Oh yeah, right.
I would love him here, but I don't want to give up that much for him.
Yeah,
all right, before we get off of sports, did you see the Hall of Famers?
No, I didn't catch the whole. What can you?
Ichiro Suzuki headlines the MLB Hall of Fame class this year. Which I don't know if any baseball fan disagrees with Ichiro Suzuki getting in.
Yep.
I
think Ichiro would be my first pick, honestly. Yeah, I did see them. Ichiro, I saw him. I'm like, I would go for him over any of these guys that are honestly below him.
Billy Wagner, who I love, obviously Philly. You know what I mean? Like great closer.
Bias. Yeah, but okay, who's next?
But he's a Hall of Famer.
All right, yeah, that's fair.
And CC Sabathia, who I think was an absolute dog. Dude.
He was
3,000 strikeouts, like 200.
I hated his guts, dude, but he's definitely a beast.
Oh, he was so good for so long.
Yeah, he was old and he was still hurling really well. So
he had 2 Cy Young seasons in the same year when he went from Cleveland to Milwaukee, and then he just like pitched. It felt like he pitched every game for the Brewers down the stretch.
Yeah, right.
He's one of those. Dude, I loved CC. I loved watching CC Sabathia.
He gave me
Like,
diarrhea.
Yeah, well, I mean,
yeah.
as a
Red Sox
fans,
fan, yeah. Oh god,
it makes sense. But he's one of those guys that you didn't want to see on the mound unless it was for your team.
no. Even Roger Clemens scared me when he was a Yankee. He was a beast, dude. I seen him. I took clients to a game, the last game of the season at Fenway Park, which is awesome. It was what's his name's retirement.
I'm going to opening day.
Oh,
yeah.
F you. But the whole every World Series team came out. 86. Joe Morgan came out in a wheelchair. Jimmy Rice came out. Roger Clemens. He's still like 6'6" tall. You know, he's still a beast. And we were like right there. It was awesome.
He's been around the Phillies locker room because his kid Cody.
Oh yeah, his kid plays for the Phillies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was backup first baseman.
Oh no, shit, he doesn't. Yeah,
no, you would think that he would, right?
Right, you'd think it would drop one to the next.
Kid can fucking hit though.
Yeah,
kid can hit, but we don't need a first baseman. We got Bryce. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. You guys
who went from the outfield to a Gold Glove first baseman in his first season, which is just ridiculous. Like, I will slob all over Bryce Hopper. Like, I love him so much.
So did the Phillies pick anybody else? Pick anybody else in the offseason? Did they grab anybody good?
Nobody of worth.
No, Sox got some pitching talent. I'm moderately.
I think the Sox challenge for the division this year.
Yeah, they got the pitching that they were looking for. They didn't need what's his name from the Skankies. What's his name?
Oh, Soto. No.
Yeah, Soto. He's way overpaid.
Oh,
dude.
Dude,
it's like
grossly overpaid.
That's like 15 years of
First of all, he's one of the worst outfielders I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. He can hit the ball, right? And that's about it.
He can just hit the ball, but he can't field. So now you just overpaid for a DH. The only player, and I mean, the contracts are what they are. Baseball contracts have always been big. How are you going to pay this guy more than Shohei?
Yeah, Shohei's like the next coming of Babe Ruth, and
probably better.
Yeah, you can't. There's no because they're just going to up every mind blowing contract is like, oh my god, is there going to be a ceiling? There's never going to be a ceiling.
Didn't Shohei steal 50 bags this year?
Yeah.
So he hit 50 home runs and stole 50 bags, and then next year he's going to add pitching to it.
It's
I'll
sick
take
what he does, but yeah, I would take him over anybody right now in the game. But
he's the best player in the league.
Yeah, for sure. But he's playing with the right team. The Dodgers are gonna win World Series for a long time now.
I fucking hate them with everything in my bones.
They're all former Red Sox players. Dude, they're like every mistake that John Henry has made in the last 4 years exists.
We were sitting there watching the World Series, right? Me and a couple buddies, and I was like, "There's a former Red Sox."
Yeah,
there's a former Red Sox.
There's a guy who's supposed to go to the Red Sox. Oh no, but he didn't want to instead.
Oh right, look. Oh, there's a former Red Sox. Oh, there's another one.
Mookie Betts broke my heart though. That broke my heart. I had just gotten a jersey, and it was a Mookie Betts jersey like a month before, and
even Alex Verdugo, dude.
Right? Yeah, I know that. Oh, yeah, that was a heartbreaker too. He was a good ball player.
How do you trade him to the Yankees?
Yeah, he sucked with the Yankees though. I didn't think he was as good.
He did. He heated up in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right,
it was
right when they needed him to. But
and even the manager of the Dodgers is a former Red Sox player.
Yeah, right. So
they're everywhere.
They're like
except for Boston.
Second generation Red Sox. So really quick before we flip to the paranormal, we're at 25 minutes. Let's talk NFL playoffs. We got 4 games this week. What are your picks, man? Oh, 2 games. 2 games? 2 games.
What, this week in football?
Yeah, we got 2 games this week. Only 2 games.
The Chiefs.
Oh.
I hate the Bills.
Oh, I'm saying go Buffalo all day. I love Bills fans. I love
See, and here's where the
I love Orchard Park.
Here's where the difference is. The Buffalo Bills fans, and hear me out. You fucking suck. Like, you fucking trash ass human beings. Because they've won the division the last couple of years when we're rebuilding, they act like you've never even won a Super Bowl. You went to 4 and you flopped 4 times. You suck.
There's a new documentary, 4 seasons or 4 winters in Buffalo, and it's about the 4. I mean, that was a good team too, but yeah, they sucked. But
great team. Thurman Thomas, Jim Kelly, Bruce Smith.
I will say this. I will say this about the Buffalo Bills fan. The what's his name? The kid that dropped the ball for the tie for the Ravens. Number 89.
Andrews.
Yeah, he's been getting death threats. He's been
That's
getting like
bullshit. That's bullshit, dude.
You didn't see that with the Bills Mafia gonna like donate to?
Oh, I didn't see that. So
the Bills.
They do a lot of good like that, but they also don't make up for the scumminess of their overall personalities. You know what I mean? They remind me of Ohio State fans, and I just don't like it. I don't like it.
No, present
Fuck
company
them.
excluded. I have never met a good Patriots fan. I'm sorry. They're rough people to be amongst, dude, being a Dolphins fan. I have gotten abused
what do you want?
thoroughly abused. Not just getting our asses kicked and watching it time.
So for the people that
again.
don't know, Buddy is obviously a huge Dolphins fan. Buddy is also a large human being.
Mm.
So Buddy was walking by our tailgate one year, and then I jumped on his back.
Oh my God, I remember that.
And my dad didn't know that you were a friend of mine. He just saw me run and jump on you, and my dad had a heart attack. Dude. He was like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "It's Buddy."
Shit happens all the time, and it's not like they know Buddy. They're doing it to bust Buddy's balls, or they pour a beer over my head, or they throw.
See, I don't like that. I don't like that. Well, the snowballs.
They want to fight me in the parking lot over a fucking football game, dude.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I hate
That's
that,
not.
man. But
if you're in my section, I'm gonna bust your balls. I'm gonna talk shit.
Oh, I love busting balls back and forth.
Right.
I love that. That's
like,
part of the game.
I'm gonna do that. But at the end of the game, I'm gonna shake your hand.
Yeah, I'll buy you a beer. You know, whatever. Though
it was fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all in good fun, dude.
It makes for the game. Yeah, right.
I hate fans that ruin experiences for other people.
Because they're dirtbags, right? And a lot of them
Right.
go to Gillette Stadium. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there.
I mean, I'm also a Phillies fan, so not exactly the best reputation for sports.
Yeah,
fans.
you know, I've seen beers flown over my head at Fenway Park at Yankee fans. I'm like,
right.
But you know, whatever.
Dude, Fenway's rough, dude.
Yeah, they are rough at Fenway.
Dude, I went with the Phillies jersey, and it was a good game. You know what I mean? It was a great game.
Yeah.
I had fans talking shit to me. One's like, "Go back to Philly." I'm like, "I'm from Massachusetts, you scumbag." They were like, "What?" Dude? I'm like, "Dude, I'm just enjoying my team. I'm minding my own
baseball.
business."
Yeah, it's baseball. Yeah.
But yeah, some fans are rough, dude.
They're rough.
Like, no matter what team, they're rough. Bills fans are like that though. At Orchard Park, my dad went and he said they were pouring beers on him. And like,
I had good times. I had good times. The only time I got dirty looks is during the game when I kept saying wide right. They didn't like that at all. But Baltimore fans bought me a beer at the brewery afterwards. I mean, we got our asses handed to us, but that was nice, dude. I have nothing but good things to say about Baltimoreans. I'm taking
the Bills. I'm taking the Bills.
Go
I'm
Bills.
taking the Chiefs. I'm taking the Chiefs. I just think they're too good.
The hell with Taylor.
And they're in Kansas City, dude. Not an easy place to play.
They used to I don't know. Buffalo does have a
Kansas City's game, different, dude. Those fans are loud.
Okay, and Jalen Daniels travels to Philadelphia to take on your Eagles, your other team.
Saquon Barkley smokes these fools, dude.
Yeah, I think it's the Eagles. I'd like to see Washington win and pull the upset off. I'm sorry,
Nick, just so well rounded.
Yeah, they're a great football team.
The Eagles thought they solved the problem last year with Swift, and then they added Saquon Barkley.
Barkley is a beast.
And that
he's laughing at the Giants.
Did you see
all the way to the bank?
Did you see the clip from his touchdown run? And he right before he ran it like what 60 yards or whatever it was. Before they snapped the ball, he looks at Hurts and he goes, "Hey, watch this." And then takes it to the house. Dude.
That's great.
I was like, oh man. Yeah, I love Eagles. I love the Eagles, dude. I love Philly sports. So I want them to win it all. I do.
Philly, okay. That wouldn't be too bad, I guess. I did see Buffalo do it finally, but you know, we'll see whatever happens. Buffalo and the Eagles would be a good game. I'm not saying it wouldn't be, but whatever. So that'd be good. So let us flip now. It's 8:30. We got about 45 minutes with Charles and 45 minutes with our second guest. Our first guest tonight, he is he's a paranormal investigator amongst other things. I've investigated with this gentleman in across Rhode Island and Massachusetts. He gets around beyond that though. He's been as far east of Europe as Europe. Is that really east? Yeah, it's east. Yeah. He's been around some of the oldest buildings in the old world in this country. He's also a celebrated author. Some of his best titles are Maiden from the Sea, The Maze, Attack of the Dead Men, The O'Connor Files, and I wonder if God will be watching. Please welcome to the show, Charles Reis.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Charles, how are you?
I'm doing great. Y'all?
Good to see you. It's been a while.
I know,
man.
it's been ages.
Right? I love the shirt too, by the way. Did
Yeah,
you go to the concert? Did you get to the concert, dude?
No. I've gotten some extra responsibilities that's taking up a lot of my income.
Yeah, true. So I got good seats. I went to night 2. It was pretty awesome. It was pretty epic.
The last concert I went to was Zakk Wylde.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cool.
Yeah, he did all like Black Sabbath cover songs. That was intense. Nice.
So Charles, tell us a little bit about some of your stories, some of your books. What do you got going on? What's your most recent work?
My most recent work that I'm working on is a Lovecraftian based time travel story. Basic idea is about a girl who accidentally time travels back to the 16th century Korea. And you'll notice that is if you read all my stories, there's usually there's an idea of taking place in a different time or time travel. Some of the ones you've mentioned, Maiden from the Sea, group of kids time travel back to 1723. Attack of the Dead Men take place World War I. I wonder if God will be watching is the early 1980s. I'm a big history fan too, so
yeah, amen. Brandon, I first met Charles at the Nathaniel Green Homestead in Coventry, Rhode Island. I was investigating, and Charles was one of the docents, and we clicked.
We hit it off
throughout the years. Yeah,
it's tough to not like Buddy.
It's really hard. You really have to work on it.
I could agree. People have done a lot of
now
work
if you spend a lot of time with them. You know, no.
Things might change. I get it, but yeah.
I first met Buddy. We worked at a psych hospital, and the first time I met him, he was wearing some dolphin sweatshirt or whatever it was, and I was like, "Don't like this guy."
Yeah, immediately.
Judge
a book by its cover.
Not a big fan, and then I got to know Buddy. I'm like, I love this dude.
Slow guy right here. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't volunteer with the Nathaniel Green anymore, but it was fun while it lasted.
Right. I haven't got there in a number of years. Honestly, I've put a lot of my attention down at Varnum. I guess it's closer. I guess it's closer distance wise, but it just blows my mind the collection that they have there and the work that they do. I'm trying to organize a few fundraisers, a few different mediums. Going up in there. Christina Bams is one of them, and she's going to be doing around Memorial Day. Going to do a gallery reading. They're going to do a 50-50 split with the Armory. So I don't know, just whatever I can do for those people. It's just
why don't we do a live show from there?
But that'd be awesome, dude. I would love to do a live show from there. I've done live shows from there before. We've done like spirit box sessions. We've done
and then we could have both of them on as a guest or whatever after or before. You know what I mean? Like it'd be fun, good advertisement for the show.
During the event. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll pay for our tickets, and then we can do a live show or whatever, and just advertise it on our pages and all that stuff.
Yep. We're doing another event with Sarah Gagney. She does she has a little business in East Greenwich called La Chat Noir Tarot, and then Brian Denzero. I met Brian at the Bridgewater State Hospital. We worked together for a number of years, and then he took a leave from there, and he went and took a job at I'm not going to mention the house by name, but it's a home in northwestern Rhode Island. It's been known to be haunted, allegedly. It was the subject of a movie some time ago. Yeah, right. So he was employed by that location, and he got the royal shaft. So I want to try and help him out the best I can.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, let's raise some money and help you at the same time, and get you a gig. So it's pretty cool. So we're getting together. We're going to do that at Barnum probably in April. We're looking at April and late May. So it's like a 6 to 8 week window in between. So that'll be fun. But yeah, I can't even tell you the last time I was at Nat Green.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too.
Yeah,
the place is very active too.
Yeah, for sure.
They've been a little bit more open with doing investigations there. I know they were quite standoffish for the longest time, which was understandable.
Right, they had issues with other people and stuff, which I don't talk about. Whatever, but
but they're fun stories because I know them. Some of them I've even witnessed.
of course. There's always stories, especially in the paranormal. Speaking of Rhode Island and all the haunted places in around Charles, if you had to place one, you could like say you want to go to one place in Rhode Island and just like recommend that or do something there. What's the one? What's the best place in Rhode Island in your?
That I've actually personally investigated, or
Yeah,
I just want to investigate. Gosh.
That you've investigated, yeah.
Now you got me thinking. Well, I don't know. It wasn't the most haunted, but I enjoyed it a lot. Was the Roger Williams Casino up in?
Oh yeah.
I
Nice.
enjoyed that a lot. It was not super haunted, but there was stuff going on there. They were surprisingly very open about having us in there, but that was like years ago. Honestly, other than Nathaniel Green, I mean, but I did a lot of overnight stuff, and I've seen shit going on there. So
right.
So I have, because I was there more often. I'm kind of more biased towards that place. That's why I was like, oh, Roger Williams Casino was amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's done any other investigations since then, though.
I don't honestly hear about a lot of people going in there. Not a lot of people talk about it, but you never know what people do nowadays. But
that same night, I also did the nearby the Betsy William Cottage.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
where's that?
That's right next to. That is in Roger Williams Park, not too far from the casino.
Really, I didn't know that.
By the way, it's not really a casino. You should just call it that.
Right.
Yeah. It's a fun hall. I tell the story frequently, Charles, about the night Joe and I were at Fort Adams in Newport, and you was like, "Hey, I think somebody said hi to me." And we went back in the room, and like clear as day, hello. Was like, "What?"
Yes, I do remember that. That was those tunnels were amazing and interesting, especially when it's at night and there's nobody around. That's even fun. Wasn't that the one where like there's somebody coming towards us and we're like calling and the person's not answering us?
We were outside in the yard and we thought there was somebody. Bibbs, we swear that like you can ask Joe. It was Joe, Charles, and myself. We were walking through this field and we could hear a man's voice and it was in front of us. And it's like he was talking to us and we were trying to answer him back, fully expecting a gentleman to come out. I thought it was the guy who was the curator. I thought he had come over on his golf cart again and was like walking at us. And we fully expected a man to walk out of the darkness, and there was nobody there. It was just, and then the voice stopped. It was so weird. It was so weird. Yeah, it's just one of those experiences. It's all about having the experience. I tell people that all the time. I can tell you these scary stories all the time. You can believe me or not, but you're really not gonna like be like,
I gotta go on an investigation with you.
Right. You're not be like, holy shit. I was on one the other night, and there were some times where they're like, "Hey, you want to go in this room?" I'm like, no, I don't. It's just giving me like ugh feeling, and I probably should go in that room for that very reason. But like the basement, Charles, of that location that we were at the other night, I could not bring myself to go down there.
Big old brave buddy wouldn't go down there. So
right, I'm a coward when it comes down to it. Joe left. I was alone with the medium in that big old building, and I'm like, she's like, oh, there's all sorts of stuff going on. I'm like, we should go down. She's like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. Then I don't know that I should go down. So I didn't go downstairs. But we had plenty of stuff that happened. So it's always interesting, wherever you happen to go.
Right.
Right. So some of your locations out in you've been out to Europe too, Charles. We're
correct.
Yeah, with some of your best stuff that you've.
It wasn't the best place in terms of its look. I mean, it was the New Inn in Gloucestershire, England. Gloucestershire is famous because they have a cathedral there where some of Harry Potter was actually filmed.
Oh yeah, nice.
And the New Inn was like built back in the 1400s, so it's hardly new. And they had like William Shakespeare perform there and stuff like that. And it was kind of funny. For one thing, it I wouldn't say it looked like a dump, but it was clear. It was quite obvious it was built in the 1400s, except when you go into the rooms. And the room, for some bizarre reason, the bathroom was massive. It was bigger than the normal room. And I'm like, do we really need this much room? I wish I do have pictures of it. I'm like, this bathroom's huge compared to the rest of the place. And it was like all like empty space. But I got a lot of interesting EVPs there. With various voices. I could be the the British do have a sense of humor, and they don't mind too much if you make fun of them, as long as they're slightly respectful. Now, with my friend Andrew, I can be like completely disrespectful because he dishes it back, and so, and I think the person, though, if there was a spirit there, got a little mad because we might have been disrespecting Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah,
and apparently that's a no-no.
That's a big no-no. They love her, dude.
Yeah, they do like. Actually, I think they like Princess Diana the most. I would not touch her at all. It's like I don't want to be murdered. But you can make fun of Queen Elizabeth, but don't you dare make fun of Princess Diana.
No, the way they talk about Diane is like she was an angel walking amongst everybody else. Like they love her. And every story I've ever heard, it's like that's what she was. She was just a saint of a human being.
Right.
And she died so tragically and stuff, and that whole.
Just a shame.
Yeah.
You hear some interesting when you're over there. If the people are really comfortable with you, because I got a lot of good friends over there, they'll tell you some interesting stories and ideas.
Oh, I bet.
I'm sure they have their own conspiracy theories as to what happened.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, the big one I heard over there is like apparently is quite well known that Prince Harry is not Prince Charles. King George, whatever the hell his name is now. Son, and that is actually kind of well known.
Really?
Yeah. Well, apparently, when the royal family, you only technically need one legit male heir.
Right.
After that, you can do what the hell you want after. I mean, William is clearly Charles's son, but even I've wondered about William. Harry, if he is, because apparently Princess Di had a bodyguard, and he was redhead.
Oh boy.
But I guess what's good for the goose is good for the gander, because Charles was screwing around the entire time.
Right.
So why blame her for that?
I mean, lucky that guy, because Diane was a beautiful woman too.
Lovely lady. Yeah.
She was very lovely.
Gorgeous, yeah.
So the new inn, Charles. Hold on a second. I have let me give it. I'm sorry, it was on a different screen. I have a clip that you sent me from the new inn. Bam, this is what we refer to as an EBP. So I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna share screen because I couldn't get it in the studio here. So bear with me for just a moment. And as I play the elevator music, okay, I think it's going to be this one. Hold on a second. All right, here we go. This one right here. I'm going to do this like this. There we go. Okay, everybody can see that? The new inn? Ready? You see it?
Yeah, I see it.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, they're welcoming.
I don't know if it's just on my end, but when I played it earlier, it was quite clear as day, and I'm like, wow, I can barely hear it right now, but it could be because I don't have headphones on or anything.
Yeah, I can hear it with the headphones. I don't know, maybe it's not coming through as clear because I'm playing it on the share screen rather than...
Yeah, it wasn't as loud, but it was good. You could hear
You could clearly hear the phonetics of the Get Out. You could hear that I could hear that it's a woman's voice. Yeah. So another place. Yeah. I think you said like let us know you are here or something, and they just told you to get out. That's kind of fucked up. Kind of like not Southern hospitality at all. The British are not well known for their manners, I guess. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. I've never been.
Actually, they're extremely polite.
I was going to say, buddy. Yeah.
Probably, right? Yeah,
they're actually quite. I mean, not every single one, but every one I've ever come across has been very polite.
Yeah, it's just us here in New England who are crabby assholes and display our attitude with our driving skills.
It's a different kind of hospitality in the Northeast.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's a rare breed in Massachusetts.
Oh yeah.
We're rude, but that just means because that we like you.
Yeah, right. It just means that they care. Charles, another clip that I have from you is Ogmore Castle. Can you tell us a little bit about about Ogmore Castle and your
Yes,
investigation?
Ogmore is located in Ogmore, Wales.
Oddly enough.
What about that? That was during the time when King William invaded, pretty much was trying to control Wales. He built like 4 major castles: Carnarvon, Harlech, Beaumaris. Carnarvon, what the hell's the other one? There's one more. Oh god, that's gonna bother me. Harlech, Beaumaris. What the hell's the other one? Oh, whatever. There's another one. I'm blanking off the back of my head. But he also built a lot of little small castles, pretty much to, how when Americans moved out, started moving out west and slaughtering the Indians and doing that. They were kind of doing that over there, except with the local Welsh population, trying to control them and stuff. And Ogmore was one of them. It was built back, if I remember right, between the 1100s, 1200s. There's like a story about the woman in white. I believe she was called probably mispronouncing it because it's a Welsh name, but Eladi Wen. It's like the lady in white.
Oh, right.
And she guards gold. I'm trying to give you the simple version of it. She guards gold, and if you take the gold, they'll piss her off and she'll kill you. Pretty much.
All right, so
doing like the extreme Cliff Note versions. I don't want to spend the entire time.
Lady in white. It's always a lady in white, Charles. Why is she always wearing white?
Go. Purity.
Oh, okay. Right, there you go.
That's what I thought. Just like in purity.
Sure.
Or if they're actually an evil spirit, they wear white because of they're wearing white. They must be trusted because they're an angel, and then they're
going to trick you, right?
I think she scratches you, if I remember right.
Oh, that's
she scratches you, gives you a disease, and you die later. Okay, that's if I remember right.
Sounds
that's
like
fantastic.
But naturally, it went.
Yeah, of course. And you were there by yourself? You were there with other people?
I was there with my good British friend Andrew, who sometimes makes an appearance in that. He's a little bit not shy, but doesn't. And the place was closed. It was still daytime though. But the only thing that had joining us was sheep. And some horses were nearby because they have this thing of allowing farm animals to graze in around not Stonehenge, but some of their ancient landmarks. Don't ask me why.
Keep up on the lawn.
I think there were chickens nearby too. So, but the castle grounds is pretty much empty.
Yeah, that's cool. So the Ogmore Castle, I'm going to share that. If I can find it now. Oh, here we go. 2 for 2, buddy. Ogmore Castle. Any ideas as to what you were saying, Charles? Definitely.
No clue. If I don't put a word up, it's generally I don't have a clue what they're saying.
Bams, any idea? Any thoughts on that?
No.
I couldn't. Sound like just a high pitched sound. Honestly,
yeah.
That's all I really got from it.
I should add, when I was there, I might have butchered the language, but I've actually usually try to speak the language of the area, and they speak a lot of English, of course, but it's actually Welsh. And so I tried my hand at Welsh, probably butchered the language. Maybe she was bleeding her ears out, saying it's like the French. Person can't talk. Let's get out of here.
Is that the one where you had an EVP that I've seen before? I want to say where it was you're speaking the Welsh language and you got a response.
That seemed to be in Welsh. Yes. I didn't give that to you. That was at the Salisbury Hill area. There's a chamber that's 5,500 years old. Wow. And you can go right. And I was inside it when I did it. What the heck's the name of it?
That's awesome.
Salisbury Hill is much like Stonehenge, only it's a lot bigger.
Right.
And they have there's a burial chamber where they buried it. There's 30 plus people buried in there. Then there's the stone circles that's near Salisbury Hill. And then there's a place, I believe they call it the altar. I didn't really get to do much there because there were some gypsies nearby, and I think we can still use that word, or is it Romani?
Gypsies? I'm not offended. If any my viewers are offended right now, we're sorry, we're not being politically correct. The gypsies.
Well,
No, they are gypsies, though.
Right.
Yeah, well, there's the Romani people who would be called gypsies, but these people were kind of like were in caravans and they go into neighborhoods and they litter and steal like crazy, and then they move to the next area. And so I try to differentiate between those people and the ethnic Romani groups,
right?
Because most Romani people are not like that.
Right. Was it Algipu? The term Algipu.
Yes. Unfortunately, they live up to these. They live up to these stereotype. It's like poor ethnic group people.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
So I didn't really stay there because they weren't unfriendly, but they were watching us.
That's more unsettling.
Here we go. Hold on. I got a response. Gypsy is considered a slur. I'm sorry if you're of the Romani,
which I might be mispronouncing.
Peoples. I don't mean to offend. We're just going by what this guy is saying. So,
like I said, I'm trying to differentiate between actual Romani people and these people who might be a Romani, but ethnic Romanis, but they were just robbing scumbags. In the end.
Just scumbags, yeah. It doesn't matter what they were. They could be any race or gender.
But the term gypsy is like historically accurate for the people that acted like that too. Like that's what.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, that historically speaking, that would have been the word they would have used.
Right. So that's all we're trying to do is use that. It shouldn't be. If you're offended, I don't know what to tell you. Get over it.
Caravanners, yes, they do use that term. I remember them. My friend Andrew was talking about that. He uses the term caravanners that came into his neighbor area and robbed the place and left a bunch of garbage in the field.
Scumbags of every culture. I'm sure they're in Europe and America alike.
Again, I'm a Phillies fan, so it happens.
Yeah, of course. You know what it's like.
Yeah, Buddy's a Dolphins fan, so
yeah. So of course we know true scumbagia and true just lifelong depression and awfulness. So Charles, do you find that in Europe they have a better understanding of ghost hunting or?
Well, if I remember right, Britain was probably the first place that did this paranormal investigation. You know how Americans are? We like to take credit for everything.
Yeah, right.
Cowboys, that's an American. No, it was Mexican, but okay. Right. Stuff like that.
Yeah, the ghost shows. Yeah, well, they had the ghost club.
They had it over there first. And so,
yeah, right.
In Britain, they're far more accepting and open-minded to paranormal. But if you go to a lot of European places, France would be one, not really.
Right.
Not that they're not being religious, they're being atheistic. And now I will say, from what I understand, I have not been to Eastern Europe. That's coming up in September, where I'm going to Eastern Europe.
Where are you going?
Hungary, Czech Republic, and Austria.
Oh, that'll be cool.
I did hear they're a little bit more.
Dude, you get around, dude. That's awesome, though. Good for you.
Hey, there's a whole wide world out there, so I like to try to see as bit as I can.
Live, dude. Right, that's awesome. Going to Czechoslovakia. I'm gonna have you get me like a good Czech Pilsner if you could, that'd be awesome.
I will do my best. Remember, I had to smoke Kinder eggs, which are actually
right.
Good ones.
Kinder eggs for us. They
got the cheap knockoffs, and I smuggled those in.
Right, and yeah. So it's all very well doable, I guess. So another one of your adventures. Hold on here a second.
Buddy versus technology.
Buddy versus technology, part 3 continues
to be my favorite segment of our show.
I do have it. Hold on,
Charles. When we first started, Buddy couldn't even get his feed right constantly.
Oh, dude, that was such a problem.
I would be talking to him, and he would be frozen. He'd be off of the screen. It was fun.
And it wasn't just limited to this show. It was the show before this one where.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was terrible, dude.
A show that no longer exists.
Yeah, exactly. Dirtbag. Okay, so here's the third one from my culture, my family's home, the lovely country of Ireland, the Hellfire Club.
The Hellfire Club. I hope people can hear that one.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
have headphones in, and if I'm listening it directly on the computer, I hear nothing.
I put my feet up and I could hear it.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
I
That's
can
good.
hear
As
it.
long as you can hear it.
Yeah.
It is faint, but yeah, you can definitely hear something.
The Hellfire Club is quite a famous spot outside of Dublin. I want to say, I'm not sure they pronounce it this way, but it's Montpelier Hill. We went up there during we met my friend Alex, who's a typical Irishman who smokes a lot and drinks a lot, and we went up there. And then when we got into the Hellfire Club, a major storm hit.
Yep.
So we were up there alone because there was just nobody there, and we were the only idiots up there. And so we decided, hey, since nobody's here, let's do an investigation. Hellfire Club, it's not that old. It's like a 1700s. It's a hunting lodge. And you know how it is. They supposedly worship the devil. And, apparently they set a cat on fire. The cat ran around, caused the whole place to catch on fire.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Next
a little bit of this, then there's another story where they kill somebody and ate the person. And
oh, boy.
Probably all not true.
Yeah.
It was mostly it was a bunch of gentlemen that got there, and they have some women that were probably not their wives and girlfriends come over for other activities, and the women get paid and they're happy.
Monopoly.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. Monopoly.
Everybody has a good time.
Oh
boy.
Twister.
Yeah, for sure. So Charles, you don't just have experiences with ghosts and elementals and whatnot. You also have experienced other paranormal entities, if you will. Can you tell me a little bit about this as I get ready to load up your photograph?
Well, I'm assuming you're talking about the UFO.
I am talking about the UFO. Yes, Babs. He's a multifaceted guest.
I like this.
Ooh. So, okay, the story is I'm in a place called Lucerne, Switzerland. Go there. Best place on the planet. Like one of the most gorgeous place I've ever seen in my whole life. We went to this monument called the Lion of Lucerne, which is a gigantic stone statue of a dying lion. It commemorates the Swiss who died during the Battle of Bastille in France during the French Revolution. I might have that wrong because sometimes I kind of, I have it in the back of my head and it's gone, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So we're walking back and we're going towards this bridge that's like several hundred years old. And as I'm walking and I'm looking up in the sky and I go, bump Andrew. I'm with Andrew again from England. And he's like, what is that in the sky? He goes, oh, I wish I could do his accent. He's like, oh, isn't that the hotel? And I'm like, no, that's there. The city's flat, for one thing. We're not talking skyscrapers. And this thing was high up. And I'm like, no. And we're looking like, it's kind of moving a little bit. It's like these lights were kind of moving like this. And I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, give me your camera, because I stupidly left mine back home. And I'm like, give me your camera. And I took a series of photos. And then we went over the bridge to try to see if we can get a better view. And I just couldn't find whatever these weird lights were. So luckily I had Andrew's camera.
The photo that Charles is telling us about is right here. Hold on.
So in case you're keeping score, Buddy was supposed to have this ready.
It was ready. Can you see what I see? Do you see what I see? All right, so here's the building tops here, kids. Right, here's this like top of the bridge.
That's the Witch's Tower.
The Witch's Tower, paranormal right here, in the middle of the sky. It looks like an aircraft. It looks like little windows, like little, but you don't see any building.
No, there would be, behind there would be a mountain.
Right, a mountain.
And we're talking, this is the Alps, so they're not like, So
what are your thoughts, Pams? What do you think? You get excited about UFOs. Tell me
I love UFO stuff, first of all. I love the fact that we're not alone.
Yeah.
And that I mean, that's a really good picture. Thank God you had that camera.
Right?
Oh my God, they got, and I took several because I kept getting closer. One of the things I wanted to do was to make sure I got as much as the buildings.
Right.
Right.
So I mean, it's kind of give, I guess, a scale. And yeah, as you can see, the city's pretty flat. It's not a like it's we're not talking New York City here.
No, not at all. Those old European cities.
Now, did you see it take off? Like, how did it take off?
Well, we were watching it, and then we tried to go over the bridge to the far right. That's all lit up. We tried to get to the other side to see if we can get a better look, and then we just couldn't. We just didn't find it.
It just disappeared.
It just was not there anymore.
Zipped out of sight. That's very UFO-ish of it.
I do love UFO stuff.
And apparently, I have read. I was trying to look stuff up. Apparently, there is a common thing of UFO sightings in that area.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm assuming because it's just so beautiful, even the aliens might appreciate it. It is I will say it is a beautiful area.
And UFOlogy is whole lot bigger than, honestly, I thought it was just out in the desert or like people up in New Hampshire. No, there's our mutual friend Patrick was supposed to come with us investigating on Saturday, but he's like, hey, he's like, don't be upset. He's like, I get a chance to go UFO hunting. I'm like, dude, go get some good pictures. But he was going right in the area. So this whole project that he was involved with the getting the grants for to study the safety of commercial jets flying with the danger of crashing into UAPs or UFOs in the atmosphere. And this was a government funded project, and the head of this project was a former Navy pilot who had several interactions with UAPs and UFOs. So I think it's fascinating that the whole bit of it.
I guess one of the things I like about this, because you're right, I do see there are some exceptions, but most UFO pictures tend to be taken out of in the middle of nowhere. Hence, that's why I wanted to get much of the city as I could.
Right.
Because I think there has been, like, I think Phoenix, Arizona has been known to have UFOs in the area, and that's a major city, but
I think there's a lot more recently. But yeah, traditionally it's been mostly deserts
since the nuclear age
or oceans too. There's a lot of oceans.
Yeah, exactly.
Over open bodies of water, which is insane because I've heard theories. I get stuck in these rabbit holes where I'll just read at 2 a.m. like all this stuff, and there's people with theories that like literally aliens and other beings are coming from the ocean. They're not coming from outer space, and it's deep under rather than above, and that's why we can't find them. And I'm like, we do know more about space than we do about the ocean. So checks out to me. You know what I mean? But then again, it's 2 a.m. and I'm usually on the throne. So who am I?
Right.
Awesome.
Literally,
gentlemen,
I want to get your perspective on something UFO-ish as of late. People have said, I've heard UFOs. I've heard
talking about Jersey
government. I've heard foreign government. What are your thoughts on these drones flying all around New Jersey? Are they indeed the cause for Aaron Rodgers playing so terribly?
First of all,
thoughts, guys. Go ahead.
First of all, watch your mouth when you talk about the goat. Okay? I'm going to throw that out there. Don't talk about him like that, okay? Second of all, I don't think it's a foreign government. I think it's our government doing something. Like, I'm a firm believer it's not UFO. It's not a foreign government or anything like that. They know something. They're looking for something, doing whatever, and they just won't tell us what's going on, and that's why they've been so secretive. You know what I mean? And it's just
for sure. Yeah, thank you.
I didn't see what he said.
He said that they. I'll put it. We were just talking.
I saw that there was military reports, right?
The amount of military reports being released that confirm they are surfacing from the seas. That's the head of this project was a Navy pilot who witnessed them coming in and out of the sea. So, yeah, it's definitely a fascinating topic. Honestly, until I being the skeptic that I am, until I see something concrete, I still think it's a whole bunch of kids with a whole bunch of rich kids with a whole bunch of, because I got a friend who has a drone, and they can go up like, dude, he shoots it so far up you can see like the Narragansett Bay, and he's in.
But here's the thing: is they're not high up; they're like low to the people and getting pictures and all that stuff. Like there's something. I do think it's our government just doing whatever they're doing and just being secretive about it and sketchy and not telling us what's really going on, which if I'm being all fair though, I don't want to know everything that they're looking at.
No, I'm
I don't want
okay
to know.
with that. Right, I'm all
Keep
right with
me
that.
in the dark.
Right,
About certain things.
right.
Not
I
about
want a
that-
vice president who can go on a hunting trip and take out his competition and just say it was an accident. And get,
Those are my
I'm okay.
favorite.
I'm okay with that.
Those are my favorites. If you can't shoot somebody in the chest and say whoopsie, what do you do?
Shit happens soon, right?
Didn't one of the vice presidents shoot somebody?
Shady.
Yeah, that Dick
Was it
Cheney.
Cheney?
That's
Okay, I'm
exactly
trying to
what I'm
remember.
referring to.
Shady, one of the most corrupt and interesting individuals in the
Oh.
history of the government. If you really look into him, what a scumbag.
He definitely had his hand up the puppet ass of George W. I don't know.
He is so entertaining to read about, though. If you read, I have his memoirs at home, and I started reading them, and I'm like, this dude is fucking wild. Dude.
Yeah, he's
This
definitely
nuts.
he's old school Republican, old school conservative.
Did you see that movie that they
everything.
made, like that satire movie they made about him with like Steve Carell and all that stuff? Dick.
No,
It is-
no.
It is hilarious, dude. And they like go through factual stuff about his history, and then it's just so funny. And they play off the heart attack thing. It's really well done. it's like really well done.
Honestly, on a personal level, people get like almost near next offended because like oh, the government has all these secrets, dude. All this stuff that could be going on. I'd rather keep it because I don't think that everybody in this country could actually handle that.
No,
It might cause mass hysteria, you know.
no.
Make people go into a panic. Just keep everybody safe.
Our psych hospitals are already overpopulated.
Yeah, right.
If
People
they start releasing everything that they're doing, not good for everybody.
People get upset when the wrong person gets elected president. So I mean, they lose their minds, and there's absolutely no reason for it. We don't have to get into any of that. I've witnessed it happen many times. It's just people get upset for all the wrong reasons, and unfortunately,
it's always entertaining on social media for the meltdowns, though.
It sure is, though. Yeah, it sure
so
is.
funny. No matter what side, by the way, no matter what side.
Yes.
A good friend of mine. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say his name.
But people that align themselves so strongly with one party or the other, I find them missing the whole point of this, and it is so entertaining to watch them just mentally melt.
Lose that shit.
It is the Trump supporters, like the guys that think he can do no wrong and say nothing wrong and do all this. They are some of the most mentally fragile people. And that's my family. You know what I mean? Like I have family on both sides, and they have meltdowns, and I'm like, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. And then I have people on the other side that melt down when he gets elected, and I'm like, you're also an idiot. Like it's just. Stop taking it so seriously. No matter who is president, I'm going to let you know a little secret, buddy. You and I still have to go to work.
Life still goes on. The sun still rises.
Right.
We all still have to get along and try to make the best out of this whole social experiment we call life, dude.
Sure.
Other than that, what are we arguing about, dude? We're arguing about millionaires and billionaires that don't give a shit about us. It doesn't matter, dude.
Pretty much. They don't have to pay the same taxes. They don't have to. Yeah, they don't have to really work for a living. Yeah,
No.
they get paid to get paid to get paid. Yeah.
None of those politicians have ever really worked a day of their lives.
No, most of them are born with a silver spoon up their ass.
Most of them. There are some of them that.
Jack Reed out of Rhode Island. I have a lot of respect for that guy. He's a Democrat. I usually lean more Republican, but more middle of the road. But he's an Army veteran. Purple Heart, Medal of Honor. Anything I ever needed, I wrote to his office. He took care of business for me on more than 2 occasions. So he's a stand-up guy, you know.
So local government is always where the real changes are, anyway.
Yeah, with the people who give a shit about the people,
right?
And that's honestly
they're closer to the pulse than anybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they get it. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't really like the. I don't like to get into politics. It just makes too many people.
Too much.
This is what happens when you talk about UFOs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. You get right. The government, the conspiracy theories are going to come next. We're going to have somebody on next with schizophrenia. They're going to go all on tangent. You know,
that would
that's not our next guest.
That's not our next guest, but
those are my clients that I work with every day.
I would have so much fun with that.
Yeah, I would, and I would. I love to listen to it, dude, and that's why I work in mental health.
When Buddy and I used to work at a psych hospital, it was. We had a very wide variety of patients, and some of the stuff you hear, it's like if you're working too many hours, you're like, whoa, you're starting to make sense, dude. And then I'm like, oh no, I'm in trouble. I got to take a day off.
You'll be very happy to know, buddy, that I am working on a story that does take place in a psychiatric hospital.
Love it, Charles. Awesome, dude.
Does it really?
Yeah.
I love this.
I mean, it's okay to put necrophilia in there too, right?
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely. There's usually
I don't see anything
a
wrong.
morgue. There's usually some sick, twisted mental health worker that really doesn't belong working in the field. Working at every one of these psych hospitals.
There's
I
a
guarantee
bunch of
it. Bunch of them. Oh yeah, at least like a third of the staff in population.
Sometimes I do try to push the envelope of taste. I think I made a joke with you one time. I have this one story out called The Feast of Dagon, and I made a comment. It's like, yeah, there's a fish orgy in it. Yeah, you know what you want to do.
Yeah,
what are you gonna do? What are you really
gonna do?
Charles, I don't know if you want to stick around. We have our second guest, Amy's going to come on in just a minute to the medium. If you want to stay on and chat, if you want to get going. But before we do, got anything new you're working on? Any new works that you want to promote? Where can people find your books?
Yeah, you can find my books on Amazon. They are in anthologies. They're not, I have not written a novel. I tend to really like poems and short stories. Attack of the Dead Men is in Voices of the Prism. The O'Connor Files is the Eldritch Detectives. But you can find me on Amazon, Charles Reis. Just be careful because there's apparently more than one Charles Reis in the world.
There's another
Somebody
Charles
writes a bunch of books about financing or something, and I have no interest in that shit.
Right. That's not you. Right.
It is fun reading about reviews of your own stories because I'm like, ooh, why did they mention me? And one of them did mention me one time, and one of them she actually didn't like the fact she liked the story, but didn't like the fact I put in the whole COVID-19 stuff in there.
You're always gonna get people.
The empty house across the street.
It's gonna be a bitch.
That story, the empty house across the street. So, but most of that, I if I've been told it's like your story was absolutely disgusting and blasphemous, I'm like, oh, thank you, because I will tell you, some people did consider I wonder if God will be watching to be blasphemous.
Right, because you used his name. Yep.
Well, I didn't. If you just to give my idea is I didn't necessarily portray God and the devil in the traditional way, and I didn't necessarily portray God as good, and I didn't portray the devil as bad. And I actually thought that story was never going to get published because it has other scenes in it that I thought it would never get published, but it did.
People that get upset about art are missing the whole point of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right.
That art is supposed to invoke emotion. I'm a true believer in that, and if you can do that, then you did it right.
Right.
One way or the other.
Do my best.
I'm gonna look at that book after.
Yeah.
I have enjoyed my time. I will have to go because, as Buddy knows, I got responsibilities now. I'm now taking. I do have legal guardianship now. That's all I'll say. So, gotta make sure he gets to bed on time.
All right, Charles. It's always nice. It's always nice chatting with you. I hope to get in the dock with you again sometime soon.
Be careful how you say that because that really sounds trashy.
Right, with other people though. Yeah, whatever.
That still sounds trashy. It sounds even worse.
Probably sounds even worse. All right. Well,
sounds fun.
Have a good night, dude. It's always
thank you for having me. Good luck with the rest of the show.
Thank
you. Later.
All right, buddy.
All right, Bams.
So
I'll let you do your thing.
We're gonna get to the bio. We're going to get to the bio real quick. Amy Marino is the owner of the Sanctuary Healing Therapies in Gibson, Brewster. Amazing place. Literally, me and her we'll get into it, but she's built a reputation for her integrity, compassion, and accuracy as a psychic medium, a healer. With over 20 years of professional experience, Amy's provided insightful readings to clients and Cape Cod locals and visitors from all over the world. As a psychic medium, channel, empath, and Reiki master teacher, Amy brings a multifaceted approach to her practice. She really does, actually. I love it, dude. I love the Sanctuary. It's literally my safe place. She's also a master tarot card reader and a skilled quantum energy healer, as well as a crystal and sound therapist, which is what I do. I do the sound therapy and crystal healing. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Amy specializes in guiding individuals on their soul's journeys, helping them uncover their divine life purpose, explore past lives, and understand their soul contracts. Her work offers offers clarity and guidance, empowering clients to navigate their lives with purpose and insight. And we'll put the websites up on our Facebook after. Such an amazing person, dude.
On the page, yeah.
And I literally just happened to come across her on a Google search.
That's
I
a
was
lucky search.
looking for a place to do meditation and all that stuff on the Cape because I moved out to the Cape. I happened to find the Sanctuary in Amy, and I couldn't be more thrilled with the experiences that I've had. So let's bring Amy on.
Welcome to the show, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Hi. How are you guys tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you.
I'm so happy to see you. Like I was telling Buddy about this. Like this is a good one.
I'm super happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
So do you want to explain like how you got into like all the Reiki and all the tarot card readings and everything else?
Yeah. So, and can I just actually start with a funny story first?
Of course you can.
So you and I have been working together for a little bit, but like we're still kind of getting to know each other. And I didn't know anything about what you do, whatever. And so then, like last week, you kind of sprung on me, like, "Hey, by the way," and so you're like, you want to come on the show? I was like, sure, great, And then I'm like, yeah, send me the link. So you eventually got around to sending me the link, and I click on it, and I'm like, the ghost and the goat. I'm so confused. So I had to think about it for a minute. And so, I click on the little thing, and sure enough, there's like the ghost and the goat, and there's goat, and I'm like, is this like something satanic? Like, I don't know. Really, no. So I click on, I start watching it, and I say, I'm like, oh, it all makes sense now. Tom Brady, I'm a huge Brady fan. So
that's too bad. I'm
a season ticket holder.
That's terrible. That's terrible. That's awful.
No, it's definitely a sports
thing. There's anything wrong with that.
No.
Right? Yeah. But like, you know what you're getting.
It's the collision of sports and the paranormal. There are a lot that doesn't get considered when people consider paranormal sports. Like, buddy, what's the connection? There's a lot of connections.
It's such a strange combination. I love it.
It works
right.
so
well. Curses
is all about doing things that have never been done before, creating things that have never been created, innovating, combining things that have never been.
It's two things so Buddy has his own paranormal investigation team out in Rhode Island.
Say paranormal.
He's been doing it for years. We became friends probably like 10 years ago or so, maybe a little more than that now, when we started working together. And I got to know Buddy, and I was very skeptic when we started this podcast. And through multiple guests and some tarot readings, I have experienced definitely a new light. And then working with you has just brought it to like a whole new level. And
I've held his hand and walked him right in. It's been a journey.
It's such an amazing experience and journey for like a spiritual, like it's just unbelievable.
Amy, that's what I tell everybody. Like, I can tell you a million ghost stories, terrifying, scary, but it really doesn't click until you have your own experience. It's all about having that personal experience.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. So how did you get started in any mediumship and any abilities? What's your story?
All right, let's talk about crystals for a minute, because Brandon and I have been working with crystals. So back in the day, I really kind of thought people that worked with crystals were pretty crazy out there. And my friend had, back when the Sandwich Community School was still a thing, and sadly that's not a thing on the Cape anymore, but back in the day they used to have all kinds of interesting classes there, and my friend had got me to go to this crystal class. So I go, and honestly, the teacher was like really pretty out there and did not do anything to instill my confidence in what we were actually, looking at. But I had a bag of crystals that I took home. And so a night or two later, like the house is quiet, nobody's home. So I decided I'm going to sit with my crystals. So I had a chakra set. So, back in the day, I used to say chakra and nobody knew what that was. Now you kind of say chakra and everyone's like, I balanced my solar plexus in yoga yesterday.
Everybody's into Reiki.
We're moving forward in that direction. But So I had my crystals, and crystals work with your energy center. So think of them
Yep.
like little energetic batteries, and
Uh-huh.
different crystals. This crystal is emitting, a different frequency than this crystal.
Yeah.
And so, we are not just a physical body, we're an energetic being. You bring anything energetic into your energetic field, whichever has a stronger vibration,
Yep.
wins out, is going to start to take over. Well, guess what? This is made out of the earth for millions of years. And we've been around for, less than a century.
Right.
So, each of us personally. So this is going to win out. And so you bring something into your energetic field, it starts to shift and change that a little bit according to the frequency of what you've brought in. So it's pretty interesting. So I lined them up on each of the chakras, the corresponding stones, and I had one in each hand. I'm laying there for a few minutes, had some incense going or whatever. And I'll be damn, like I could feel stuff starting to happen. It was the strangest thing, but I was getting very physical sensations. I could feel energy shifting, moving. It felt like popping, like bubbles popping and releasing of energy, releasing off of me.
Yeah.
And I really didn't know what was happening. And then the crystals in my hand started vibrating. And once that happened, I was done. I was like, okay, this is real. I must find out more. And that was kind of one of the big things that sort of, started really that interest, and particularly with working with the crystals.
Yeah.
Turns out I can communicate with them. They talk to me. They tell me interesting things, but that later.
one thing I can attest to, I've noticed about crystals. I not like maybe the same idea that you started off and like people are like when they play with crystals. I've noticed certain like feel to like an amethyst. So I have an amethyst pendulum. Not that I've used the pendulum, but I have others use the pendulum. And I have a client that will get me like
pendulum.
Yeah, right. I have clients that will get one client particularly is big into geology. He goes off and finds like pieces of amethyst out in the community. He finds like pieces of what was that? Quartz. That's another one that's like supposed to hold on to this energy. So like for me as an investigator in my experience, I feel like it's all an energy. It's all like it's all
and on
by
a scientific level, you're going to find quartz in just about every radio, watch, computer.
Yep.
They're used to transmit energy scientifically.
In the foundation of this house that I'm sitting in right now, which this house that I'm sitting in right now has had paranormal activity over the years. Yeah. Does it fuel that paranormal activity? That's my thought. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
On what's the question?
So so the rock formation that sits under this house, it's got predominant quartz in it because there's predominant amounts of quartz and granite in this area.
Okay,
Granite
so you're saying
quartz.
Is it going to like attract paranormal to that area?
Do you think it's going to hold on to that energy? It's going to make it more active.
The properties of quartz are to amplify. It's an amplifier. It focuses and amplifies energy, which is why it's used to amplify signals.
Like running water. That's another big one in the paranormal.
Yeah, so it definitely can create a heightened energy frequency in that area. And so I don't know if I would say, I guess it depends on how you want to classify it, like paranormal, but it's definitely, if it has enough vibration, anyone who's sensitive to energy, once you hit a certain, like you hit that wall of that energy field, you're gonna feel it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. That's cool. Bams?
I really want to talk about the sanctuary. You know what I mean? Because like it's, buddy, when I tell you it is just a miraculous place on Cape Cod that I need more people to realize that it's there and available.
Cape Cod's a lovely place, but it needs it needs help out on Cape Cod. So
but like is. I was looking for just like I told you before, just a meditation place, and Amy and I have talked about this, and like to do sound bowl meditations and to just try to help me along with like my journey that I'm going through right now.
Yeah, right.
I happen to find Amy, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't think it's by coincidence. And we've done a few different meditations, and the last one, I can't explain the experiences that I've had the last few times. It's a special place. You know what I mean? So Amy, how did you start this?
So, pretty interesting. I had learned, once I kind of got interested in crystals, I had also learned Reiki. But I was like young, I was starting a family. And after I had my first child, I was like waitressing part-time so I could stay home with the kids. And then one day on a Thursday, I had this giant epiphany. Oh my God, I did not come here to be a waitress. There's like, no, but it was really like big, like there's something really important I'm supposed to be doing, like really, really important. But I literally have no idea what it is. And I graduated high school when I was 16. I never went to college. I kind of started like hostessing and then get into waitressing and like restaurant management. So that was my background. So I really didn't, have any other experience. I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing, but it was like this huge pull or calling or push is all I could say, and sort of overwhelming. And so I put out this huge prayer that night. And my prayer was, help me to come into alignment with my divine life purpose. Whatever it is that I came here to do, just pick me up and plunk me on the path, and I will go forward, like no questions asked. And by the way, help me to fulfill that divine life purpose to its highest and fullest potential in this lifetime. Because I believe we come here and we have kind of like a scale, 0 to like 100 of like potentiality, that we can accomplish. So that was my prayer, and it must have been a good one, because the very next day, bizarre series of events started to unfold, and I recognized that like bizarre series of events were unfolding. I put this prayer out that night. It all just felt a little surreal. By the end of the night, I was quitting my waitressing job. And so, I had never done that before. So it was Thursday night, I prayed. Friday night, I quit my job. Saturday night, I got in the car and I was like, all right, you made me quit my job. You better guide me wherever it is I'm supposed to be going. And so I start driving around, and I put in a couple of waitressing applications here and there. And I was driving to like Sandwich, I think. And all of a sudden I heard loud and clear in my right ear, Mashpee. What? Where did that voice come from? And what's in Mashpee? Dead silence. Like, okay, well, I asked for guidance, so I better turn the car around. I drove to Mashpee. I drove into some parking lot, and I thought I was there to apply for a waitressing job at Wicked. And I pulled around the back to park the car, and I get out, and there is a giant sign that said the Angel Room.
Ooh.
And I literally had no idea what it was. I had never heard of it before, but I kind of felt like this foot in my back sort of pushing me in through the door. So I go in, and the owner, Nikki, happened to be there. And I'm like, what is this place? And so she said, oh, we're a healing center. And we do yoga and meditation and Reiki and readings. And she sold angel art and a few other little things. And so I got kind of excited. I said, gosh, I think maybe I'm supposed to be working here. And she like outright laughed at me pretty much and said, well, I don't hire anybody, but I have room over here you can rent. What do you do? And I'm like, I do Reiki. And she laughed at me again. She said, every single person here is doing Reiki. Is there anything else you know how to do? And so I'm like kind of racking my brain and sort of scratch my head. And finally, like a little mouse, I confessed the fact that I know how to read tarot cards. So she got all excited, and she's like, I do not have a tarot reader. I would love to have a tarot reader here. And I'm like, well, I came out looking for a paying job today. I can't feel like signing up for rent and quit my job last night. So she slides the papers over, like, just take it home and think about it. So, okay. So I go home. Husband, horrified.
I bet.
You want to do what? I'm sure he's picturing like crystal ball, turban, the whole 9 yards. Right. And so, but I'm like meditating that night, and my guides come in and he said, I heard, if you build it, they will come. Like, wait a minute. Now I'm pissed. Like, you made me quit my job. Now you're quoting, Kevin Costner movie lines at me. Like, not cool, guys. This is not.
I love good movie games, but come on, man.
So,
my life.
Right.
Stop fucking
Super
with me.
frustrating. So finally I decide, like, okay, husband short-sighted in fear, spirit guides have my highest and best, can see, the bigger picture. So I did a compromise and I went out and I got a waitressing job and I started at the angel room. I was doing Reiki and tarot readings, actually, was how I just kind of got started. And, fun and interesting things started happening. 5 days after I started, I got pregnant with my second daughter. So I had this huge overwhelming feeling. It was kind of very connected, like this huge gift for taking this giant leap of faith. And I had gotten this waitressing job. And so I'd say about like three months in, I started getting some repeat customers and referrals. And I made like exactly enough to almost like the penny, like the last day of the month to cover the rent there. And meanwhile, I was waitressing. And so I was, that was covering the bill part. So 5 months into the waitressing job, they tried to fire me. And get this, they said I was too slow. And like, you do realize I'm 5 months pregnant. I just skate across your floor. And they're like, oh, we thought you were just getting fat.
Oh my God. They didn't say that. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh my
Now,
God.
me being the former restaurant manager.
That's what you don't say.
You do realize both of those things are completely illegal.
Right.
They were like, oh, we're going to be right back. And so they went and chatted for a minute. They came back and they said, how would you like to just collect unemployment forever? It's like, okay, great. That sounds great to me. So I had that kind of covered, the bills. And at that point, I could really put like all of my spiritual I would say my focus, more on the spiritual stuff. And I worked there for 2.5 years, and there was, guests would come in from all over, and I was just like a sponge, learning and absorbing. And, somebody would come in and teach psychometry, and I'd take a class, and I was like, had no idea I could do that.
Right.
Things just kept happening, and then the mediumship started happening. One day on the way there to a tarot reading, this man's wife came and sat next to me in the car, told me she'd passed a cancer and the whole like history of the marriage. And by the time I got there, I knew everything about her.
Could you see her, Amy? Could you see her, or could you see her with your mind's eye?
Honestly, the seeing for me was the last thing to click in. When I teach, everything that I do, I also teach at the Sanctuary, and I'm a big believer in play to your strengths. So for a long time, I agonized over the fact that I feel like I really couldn't see we call that the clairvoyance part.
Right.
But I could hear. I had clairaudience. That was the hearing piece for me. And honestly, over the years, as great as the clairvoyance is, I think if I had to choose, the clairaudience is better, because the clairvoyance you have to interpret.
Right.
And that can be a bit like charades sometimes if there's no sound. So, I heard Mashpee. There's no like really fuzzy about that. Like they said Mashpee, going to Mashpee, I guess. Right. So sometimes that can be a little bit easier, but I found over time of practice and attunements and doing the work that now all of the stuff has kicked in. That's for amazing. Her, I think it was more of a hearing at that time. Now for me, a lot of times stuff comes more in downloads. That's like your claircognizant. So that's when you just have like a knowing. You don't know how you know, you just know. It might be like a download. Sometimes it's literally like a thought bubble almost kind of plunked into the top of your head. You might almost have like a sensation of like that coming in, or you say something amazing and then you're like, I don't think that thought came from me.
So let me ask something. When I started in the paranormal, before that I wasn't a believer, and then I had experiences that just blew me out of the water. But when I first started seeing things, it was shadows. Whether I saw them straight on or I saw them at a corner, they were always a shadow. And then I did Qigon. It's like a Japanese energy meditate. It was cool. And control energy within your body, control energy around you and stuff.
It's all like movement, right?
Yeah, then I just started see more clarity. And then I did Reiki a few times, and now I've seen, not a lot, it doesn't happen frequently, but every now and again I'll see somebody, I'll see them straight on, I'll see details, and then they go on. It's maybe lasts like 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Do you find that the Reiki, that the energy work, that all this stuff is only going to more finely attune my vision to through the veil, or is it?
Yeah, and you know, one of the things like Brandon and I, through just doing like working with crystals, working when he first came in, and I was like, "Oh, let's do some Reiki," and he was like, "Nah, I'm
Do
good."
it, dude.
He's like, "Let's keep it to the sound bowls," and I was like, "All right,
do Reiki. You will not regret it.
Have it your way."
Experience. It is such
I
an
got
experience.
this whole little magic bag of tricks, but have it your way. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually.
Dude,
and
I had
like. Even just with me being like, hold these crystals.
Yeah.
I'm going to put these crystals on you. And that happens based on when the person comes in and I sort of say like, what has brought you to, you know, here? What are you hoping out of the session, or what's the intention, or what's, you know, is there something you want me to focus on? Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, because people come for all kinds of reasons.
Of course.
They're like, my ankle hurts. They're like, I have a spirit attachment. They're like, I need to get my personal power back. I have psychic abilities and they're going crazy. I don't know what's happening.
Yep.
And actually I do want to finish talking more about the sanctuary, but I had tuned in while I was in the green room. You guys were both talking about the institutions you had worked in and being mental health workers. And actually as a psychic medium, that's a topic that I'm very passionate about, and I'd love if we could like circle around a little bit to that later.
We can definitely
absolutely. I still work in mental health, and I'm graduating this spring with the mental health degree, going on to grad school. I'm a big proponent of mental health, so yeah, I'll talk about it anytime you want.
Perfect. Thank you. But so, you know, based on like what they tell me, immediately I'm getting information, I'm getting downloads, what crystals we need to use when I'm building a crystal grid on the person, what crystals, what sacred symbols, the placement, the sacred geometry, where everything needs to go, what needs to happen. So it's definitely not cookie cutter. Everything that I do or that comes out of my mouth is pretty much being guided by spirit. But even, you know, just with like, here, put these crystals on you, I'm going to play these bowls. Every time you come, you're having like more and more experiences. And that's because we're clearing out the cobwebs, the energy cobwebs, so to speak. And so the next time you come, you're a little bit lighter, a little bit clearer. So then you're feeling and receiving more as the energy is happening. So I actually have a super interesting story. Back when I was working at the Angel Room and I first had, was doing everything, these two young boys came in, like, well, I say young boys, like college age, you know, they had to be like, probably like 20. We didn't get a lot of like college age boys wandering into the Angel Room. So they come in and this one young man says, I saw your sign outside that says you do Reiki. I went to a psychic. They told me I'm not from planet Earth. I'm a healer. I'm supposed to be doing Reiki. I have no idea what that is. Can you give me some so I can figure it out? And then his buddy is like, yeah, I want to try it too. Okay, great. Come on in, boys. So get the first young man on the table. And I just did like a little mini, session. And balance all the chakras. I do all the stuff and we finish. And no, I mean, if you were watching me, you're probably just kind of seeing me like, it's pretty boring, actually. Everything that I'm doing, I mean, energy is working with my hands, but everything I'm doing is pretty much I'm doing in my mind. If you're doing it in your mind, energetically, you're doing it. And if you're like working in the quantum field. So so I finish and he sits bolt upright, grabs the sides of the table. He goes, what did you just do to me? And then he literally proceeded to tell me every single thing I had just done to him. He was like, you were down I saw you in my stomach and you were pulling these root things out. And then, every single thing I did, he saw, felt, knew. I had first of all, I still to this day have not had anyone ever react like that after a session. And number two, I totally believe he probably was not from here, was a healer, was supposed to be doing Reiki. I was curious what happens after they leave me, but like, I, at that moment was oh, so then I do the next. I'm like, wow, I'm pretty good at this Reiki thing, right? So the next young guy gets on the table, his friends, and I do the same exact thing, and we finish, and he slowly sits up and goes, well, that was relaxing. And I'm like, wait a minute, no. What do you mean that's just relaxing? I know I did everything, and he had that, and then I went, oh, the light bulb went off. It has absolutely nothing to do with me. I know I did the exact same thing, but you have two, very different levels of sensitivity.
Yeah.
First young man probably was like an empath healer, super sensitive to energy, could feel and receive the information of everything I was doing. Other one, no judgment, but like not so much. So for him, that was just more of like a relaxing experience. Now, that second young man, if I continued to work on him, I guarantee, every session he came back would be like more and more. Usually it starts with like, I'm seeing colors, and then sometimes people are like, I'm getting messages, and then they're like, I left my body, and we finish, they feel like 20 pounds lighter. They feel
it's
again. It's crazy.
Buddy, it is
crazy amazing.
Oh, you don't have to tell me how amazing. I know how amazing Reiki is. I had some amazing Reiki.
The first session I had with her, it was like I went into like a real deep state. It was like nothing. I felt like relieved after the second one. I started to like get a little more clear messages and stuff because we had sent like an intention to like get to know my spirit guides and everything like that. Another thing that Amy's helped me is like clearly setting my intentions and like getting to know exactly what that means. Because like in meditation, that's like so important. I just didn't know how to do it. You know what I mean? Like, so I could try to meditate and stuff, but I never like clearly set like an intention or knew how to go about sticking to it.
Right. It's a truly moving experience.
Yeah. And the last one that we did, Amy, at the end, I had my eyes closed. I was still in like a real deep meditative state, and I could just feel it was so strange, buddy. It was unbelievable. I felt like this heat just coming off of my head as she was doing like a little bit of the Reiki and stuff like that. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then she like went to my ankles, and it felt like everything in my body rushed out of me. And I was just like so relieved and overwhelmed. And then we talked about it after, and it was just crazy. Can you like explain that, Amy, like a little bit? Because like we talked about it. Like another thing, it's not like Amy just does like this and then you leave. You know what I mean? Like there's a conversation to be had after about what happened in the session and like what she received during it, and like talking about it and trying to decipher like what it means, and then like what it means for the intention you set, and like what you're getting out of it, and like where you're going to go from here, and like just some guidance to go with it, because I think that's super important too. Like that's why the Sanctuary it means so much to me. You know what I mean? Like it really does. Like it's a magical place. It's unbelievable.
Thank you. When I had my spiritual awakening, there was nowhere to go. I was literally at Barnes and Noble going, what is the meaning of life? Why are we here? Is there really life after death? So that was really kind of the reason that the Sanctuary is because of that. I wanted to create a safe space, a safe haven where people who were going through some sort of a spiritual awakening, metamorphosis, or just had questions, needing, guidance, whatever it might be, they have a safe space to come to, no matter what their, their orientation, their religion, their belief systems, their whatever. That there's just a safe place you can come and explore that.
Can you explain the hands thing? Because like it literally blew my mind. Because like you, even after I was like, I felt like my head was like on fire, and you were like, yeah, it felt like that.
So once I connect into the Reiki energy with intention, and I start channeling it, it will come out my hands. We have energy centers in the palms of our hands, and so as that starts coming out, my hands will superheat. I mean, sometimes they're so hot that I'm like starting to break a sweat. I'm like, too hot. But people will feel it. They're like, your hands were on fire. And then when I stop channeling the energy and we finish, they pretty much within like a minute are back to regular temperature. And even like right now, my hands are freezing. I always have the cold hands. But it's because the energy is coming down and out, into your energetic being.
But I was
and I'm directing it with my intention, and
I was very skeptical about the crystal work. And
of course you're gonna be. Of course, anybody. I was skeptical about it.
My personal experience, I can't like she put 2 crystals in my hand the last time we had a session, which was last week, and I instantly, I'm not kidding, buddy, just like the relief that came over me. And I told her too, I was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. She's like, well, I was like, I just feel like there was a huge weight lifted off my chest and my shoulders. Like
honestly,
it was when I put the selenite on you.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Honestly, beyond the spiritual and the energy effect of it all, I feel like Reiki energy work, any of it has tremendous impact on mental health. Honestly, I know a lot of therapists nowadays who are incorporating that in their practice. Either the LICSWs or their licensed mental health professionals, and they're making that an option, a tool, just another tool that their clients can access. It's can you speak on that a little bit? The tremendous benefits of like Reiki outside.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing, you go to the doctor and you're like, my knee hurts. They're like, all right, X-ray, MRI, we're gonna give you some medication, or they're gonna put a Band-Aid on it. Now you come for energy work and you're like, my knee hurts. I'm gonna be like, okay, we get it. It's a root cause of what is creating this energetically, because the physical body is the densest, right? Like the physical realm, everything is the densest. So our energy body, things enter our energy body, and then as they sit there, and we don't release, and we hold on to negative emotions or trauma, or whatever it might be, that stuff sits in our energy field. And if it sits there long enough, then it eventually does absorb down into the physical body. So it hits the physical body last. So if something's going on in the physical body, that tells me, there's already been something that's going on for a while. It's been sitting, it's mental or emotional, and it hasn't been addressed or dealt with, or there's like a blockage or something going on. So if we can go to the root cause and get the root, then you don't need to stay on the medication, or continue that, whatever it is.
Maybe.
I mean, depending on what we're talking about, you know what I mean.
There's certain people that I would rather stay on the medication and
I'm not talking about that in this case. I'm not talking about like the mental thing, but a lot of what goes on with us physically. Our pain,
or even people who have anxieties
is what I'm talking about. Pain and disease in the physical body has mental emotional root cause. So if we can deal with the energy and the mental emotional root cause, which is why we have the follow-up conversation at the end, not for me to just be like, okay, cleared some energy off of you, have a nice day. No, we need to have like a pretty long chat about everything that just took place and happened. And
I mean, even somebody with like an anxiety disorder, like general anxiety, like to be able to offer them that means to meditate, that space to do it in, whether you're doing Reiki or not, whether you're doing tarot or not, just the crystals. I think it's all fantastic. I think it's all wonderfully beneficial. I think it should be more holistic approach is definitely something cool.
2020 we really took a swing towards really more like holistic and organic and self-sustainability and natural medicine and ways of healing. Sometime during COVID, crystal healing was like the number one thing Googled under like health on the internet. It was crazy. And then I had like 13-year-olds coming in like, I need moldavite, I need citrine, I'm looking for rose quartz. And we were sold out of like rose quartz, amethyst, like all the regular stuff. I'm like, where is all this stuff? And then I found out it was TikTok.
Of course.
TikTok. It was TikTok. People on TikTok were talking about crystals, and then all of the kids or everybody was out at the stores buying up the whatever they were seeing being talked about on TikTok. So it's like across the country you can get,
it's a phenomenon now, right? I mean, I didn't really see it too much until I started going to more of these paranormal conferences, the paracons, if you will, and there's always these vendor tables, and there's always at least like 4 or 5 tables, the vendor tables. They have the various crystals, which is cool. Like I bought a pendulum with the board, so it spins to the answers and stuff. That's always fun. But before like 10-15 years ago, this was like not marketed. I mean, there wasn't a lot of witches. It's a few witchy stores around, but there's not a ton of them.
Yeah. So
where
I
you
had
can
this
access
joke
it.
because I opened the Sanctuary in 2011, May 1st, 2011. I'll be coming up
Mhm.
on my 15-year anniversary this May.
Wow.
And so, or I guess it's at 14. I started, you're starting to lose track when you're up there.
Mhm.
But in 2011, I had this joke because people come into the store, and at that time I was at the desk a lot, and people come in, they'd be like, I think I might be going crazy. I can't tell anybody, but
That was,
I saw an angel out of the corner of my eye,
mhm.
right? So 10 minutes later, their next door neighbor walks in. I can't tell anybody. I think I might be going crazy. I heard my name being called in the night. 10 minutes later, they're whatever comes in. So I'm like, if you would all just talk to each other, you would know you're all going through the same crazy, I call them ascension symptoms. But it's a spiritual awakening, and humanity is moving more towards more spiritual awareness,
Oh, sure.
or
Yeah.
spiritual understanding, conscious awareness. We're going to be getting more use of our brain. We've only been using like 8 to 9%.
Right. What's
That's
the
why I
other?
laugh,
What?
but hysterically when people say there's no such thing as psychic ability. I'm like, do you know what the other 92% of your brain can do?
You have no idea.
No.
You have no idea. Like no idea.
don't.
It's always a thing.
And so, I mean, that's the thing. I really think that for me, like, I think I'm just accessing different parts of my brain that other people aren't used to accessing.
For
And
sure.
like anything, it's a muscle, and I work it out every day. And so it's gotten really strong.
People are quick to shoot down this kind of study like ESP and telekinesis and psychic abilities, but this has been a very well studied. Not just like we were talking with our last guest,
The
Charles, about how it's a thing
government,
in England.
the government in the
Duke
80s.
University
You should
has
read.
been studying for over 100 years.
Yeah, there's a super interesting book on remote viewing that came from somebody who was running the program in the government during the 80s when we were spying on Russia, because they were doing it. And so we had to do it to keep up. And there's this whole thing that they went down the submarine and they had targets. And that was like actually the best information they got when they were underwater. And I believe that's because they didn't have all the interference of radio waves and microwaves and EMFs and all of the stuff that we have up here. So anytime you're down below ground or below sea level, I think there's a little bit less interference to hear. Yeah.
But this is nothing new. I mean, it's trendy right now, but it's not new.
It's just more socially acceptable now.
Right. People are open to it now because you have paranormal shows that flooded the networks the last 20 years.
I think it's still misunderstood. Like, I don't understand fully how it works, but like, I'm all about trying to find out what's going on. Like, and people like Amy are like, thank God we have people like Amy around to help other people like myself, like just getting into it and like trying to figure out like what's the whole purpose. What am I here for? Because like like I said, I don't think there was an accident that I happened upon the sanctuary at all. There's like
people come in all the time. They're like, my car drove me here. I've driven by this place a million times. Today is the first time I ever saw it. There was like a spotlight over it. People come in. I don't know why I'm here. My guide sent me here.
Right. When I pulled up the first time, I was like, all right, I'm supposed to be here. Like, I don't know why, but I feel like I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. The sanctuary is kind of its own like spiritual entity at this point. It just draws people in.
You have a lot of service.
Like, let people who need what we have to offer find.
You have like a lot of services on your page. I was looking at it. It's not just Reiki. It's not just tarot card reading. You do a lot.
So we have our gift store. The gift store is amazing. We're in Lemon Tree Village in Brewster, and the area there, the location itself is truly a sanctuary. Like, when I got there, I mean, there are fountains, and I have a rose garden in our courtyard, and I mean, there's statues and just meditation little benches and areas you can walk through, and it's amazing. And there's shopping there, but we have an amazing gift store. We have crystals, incense, sage, oracle and tarot cards, pendulums, all of that kind of stuff. And then I do psychic readings, Reiki, crystal and sound therapy, mentoring, teaching. We have classes, meditations. We have special guests that come down and do some things. And then I've got Mary Michael there on Sundays. My sessions are, if you're sitting with me, like, this is not an entertainment reading, type of thing. Like, if you're sitting with me, we're delving into some deep stuff. Like, we're going to go into the soul stuff, the story of your soul.
Right.
Something that needs healing, blockage, movement, awareness, awakening, activation. A long time ago, I figured out like really my divine life purpose. If I boil it down to like its most singular nutshell, is that I'm a spiritual activator.
Yep.
So that's what I do. And I do that in many different ways. I do that through just conversations in the store
real
or
therapy, real therapy.
or, a session, whether it's energy or we're doing a reading. I mean, even if we're doing a reading, really like my intent is healing on some level. That's where how I kind of
spiritual
started.
therapy, psychotherapy. I think it's
Yeah,
I think it's wonderful. Where can people find you? We do have to wrap up really quick here, Amy. I just really quick. Where can people find you at this CapeCodMedium.com? Are you on the socials? What's
Yeah, I do need to give that site an update. If they go to the Sanctuary CapeCod.com, that is the Sanctuary's website. There is tons of information on there. And we have our spa upstairs, which actually has energy equipment. It's like an energy gym. So people can come down, they can get on the crystal light bed, the amethyst biomat, the sacred geometry mat. We have a biocharger. We have an infrared sauna, salt cabin. So they can come up there and do like little mini energy sessions too, to kind of like work out your energy body.
nice?
So
And you're in Brewster?
in Brewster, right under 6A. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Cape's a beautiful place. I have some lovely friends out there. They could probably definitely benefit. And I think anybody can benefit from this. I'm gonna tell Kelly.
Send them on
Go
down.
see this lady in Brewster. She's
So
right up
how
the road.
many people
Very
do you guys
yammet.
have on your crew?
Yeah. I'll send you my
This,
people.
for us or his crew?
Yeah, no, like for your immediate.
Our podcast is just us two.
Yeah.
You have
But
a couple
his-
other friends?
Yeah,
I get friends out on the Cape. I'll
have you guys down. You can do like a little group thing up in the soul spot. Bring like
that'd
6
be cool.
friends or whatever.
Yeah.
Amy, that'd be amazing, and we'd love to
sounds like
have
a
you
good
back
time.
on when we have more time.
I
too.
would love. I have
For
lots
sure.
more to talk
For
about.
sure.
But, no,
For
I
sure.
love, like, literally love to sit with you and talk to you about everything. Because, like, I've told Buddy this, and I've told you, like, I love the Sanctuary, and I think more people need to hear about it. And the more, I guess, information we get out about it, and the more people that it reaches, the better. Just because it is a very amazing place. It's life changing. Like, it really is.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I've really just kind of let word of mouth and, be what attracts people in, and my reputation. And when people are ready, they find us. So
I tell anybody and everybody about
perfect divine timing.
it was unbelievable.
It's been nice having you on, Amy. I like to see the perspectives of. I like different mediums, and you'll always have something like beautiful and amazing to share. It's always nice to hear that this is not like it. I mean, I know this is not it being that it. Yeah, it's just wonderful to hear.
It's helped me lose my fear of death. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
When you start to see and have those experiences, so it's a pretty amazing thing to be
So
able to
like Bam said, we'll definitely have to have you back on. I'm currently booking in March. I can take dates in April, whatever you want to do.
Buddy, just send me the dates, and
I'll send you the dates, and we'll get her back on.
Yeah, I have
this
Amy's
spring.
number. I'll text her, and then I'm gonna see Amy next week. Anyway, I'm going back to the Sanctuary again.
Sounds good. So we're just to wrap up here. Tune in next week, live on the Goat and the Ghost, as we welcome demonologist, longtime paranormal investigator Mark Arvelia. He's going to join us. Mark's got some lovely stories. For Amy Marino, great last name, by the way, Amy Marino. For Charles Reis, thank you, Charles Reis, for coming on for BAMS. This has been Buddy Thayer. This has been the Ghost and the Goat. I'm Buddy Thayer. I don't know where I was going with that. Thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. Have a good night. See you next week.
Thank you, Buddy. Thank you, Brandon.
Go Bills. Go Bills.
Thank you so much, Amy. I'll see you.